you think we still have a series here?
Yeah, we still have a series. Yes, we still have. You know, the thing is, you cannot count out the king. The king is going home. You know, he's going to get a little rest. And I think they're going to realize we cannot run with these guys. We need to play our game, go home and do their thing. I think they'll regroup.
I mean, you can't count him out, but he's got at least a standing 8 count right now. Yeah, right. 7 and 8. They're getting pretty close. So you say your favorite athlete ever is Michael Jordan, correct? Is that correct?
My favorite athlete? No.
No? Well, this says right here. It's right here in the. Oh, sorry. Right. We switched guests. That's Jamar Moore.
It's all good.
You want to remix?
That's my favorite athlete of all time.
Who is your favorite basketball player of all time?
My favorite basketball player growing up was Magic Johnson. Okay. I love Magic. I just thought, because, you know, for me, I looked at players that were tall like me, and I looked at Magic, and I said, okay, this is what I want to be like. Then I realized Magic Johnson has a lot of turnovers. So I like, okay, I moved over to Scottie Pippen. I said, because he's more of my type.
When you were coming up, they used to say, hey, he's reminiscent of Scottie Pippen in certain ways when you were on Houston.
Yeah, I love Scottie Pippen. I used to watch him play all the time and try to emulate him. Then I realized I don't like dribbling the basketball this much. I'd rather just stand in the corner and shoot. So, you know, those two guys I really love growing up, and I try to emulate them as much as possible. Then again, you know, there's certain guys you can't emulate, and you just have to be yourself. And then I decided just to be Robert Horry, a killer from 3.
A killer from 3 and a killer on D, too.
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up, though, is besides it being switching the guests in the notes, is that LeBron is now in this Michael Jordan conversation. Everyone wants to put him in. I think people were anticipating a closer series so far, more competitive games, 1 and 2 at least. Where do you stand on that issue?
You know, I think people always want to compare players, and I think they need to just stop it and let guys be themselves. You know, Durant's going to be Durant, Clay's going to be Clay, you know, Kyrie Irving's going to be himself, and we always want to say, oh, he's the next greatest thing. But if you look at him, one's a guard, one's a forward, and you can't really compare the guys because they do different things. And it's not fair to either athlete, and everybody's always going to think they're the best. Hell, I think I'm the best to ever play, and you're supposed to think that as an athlete. I'm sure you thought you was the best, right?
No, he was the one who didn't.
And you're supposed to have that confidence and that cockiness about yourself. And if you look back, you can never actually compare the guys unless they went head-to-head at the same time and when both of them were at their primes.
All right, don't lie to me. You ever see Michael Jordan just laugh at him and be like, you may be the GOAT, but I got more rings than you, big dog? You ever look at him like that? Like,
yeah, and I do the same thing to him. But no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. You know, and that's one of those things people always judge you by your rings. You cannot do that. You know, you got to look at people that played on great teams like Karl Malone, one of the greatest power forwards ever played the game. He just happened to run into Michael Jordan. There's always going to be somebody out there with a better team than you and better players than you. So you cannot judge these players because, okay, he doesn't have this many rings, so he wasn't this good of a player. That's just stupid.
But because you do have 7 rings on 3, the Rockets and the Spurs and the Lakers, you have a better understanding than most of what makes a championship team. If you had to put your finger on the one thing that separates out the champions from everyone else, what is it?
It's just knowing each other like the back of our hands. You look at these guys, if you look at the way the Warriors are playing right now, they're playing like one person. They know where each other's going to be all the time. If you look at Cleveland, like they're changing their plays constantly. Like, I don't know where you're going. I don't know where this guy's going. You got to know each other like the back of your hand. These guys aren't doing that. Cleveland's like, which way do you go? Where are you going? What you doing? That causes a lot of those turnovers, and you got to be one. You look at the teams that we had, even the 95 Rockets, we didn't know what we were doing until the finals came around, until the playoffs came around, because we had just got Clyde in a big trade, and we didn't understand the dynamics of his game. And once we started knowing him, we just rolled everybody.
So how do you do that? Like, is there a way to get there to play as one?
Communication, man. You got to talk. You got to say, hey, I don't like to do this. I don't like to do this, but I love to do this. And a lot of guys now are so afraid to talk to each other because their feelings get hurt so easily. I'm like, if I don't want you to throw me the ball over here, don't throw me the ball. And I tell you that, well, I just got to give you the ball where you can get it. And these guys get so upset now. You know, I tell people all the time, you yell at your kids, you spank your kids. I know people are going to get mad, but when I say spank, just like smack them on the hand, not beat them up, down.
No, we get it.
I know how kids get. You know, but so at the end of the day, you still love them, and you're just going to have arguments. You got to realize to let it go. And nowadays, these guys, they hold a grudge.
Grow thicker skin and communicate.
Yeah, you got to communicate.
How impressed are you with KD so far?
I am super impressed. You know, to be honest with you, he was my MVP this year until he got hurt. And if you look at his stats across the board, they're great. They're just tremendously better than any season he's played, and I think it gets overshadowed because of the team he's on. But if you go back, he's better on defense, he's better on offense, he's shooting incredibly from three. He should have been MVP this year if he wouldn't have got hurt. You know, no disrespect to those other three guys, but I think he would have been MVP if he'd have stayed healthy.
Now, your name is Big Shot Bob. So obviously there's some secret sauce about, in big moments, how you played your best. And right now we're seeing some guys not do that. Kyrie Irving comes to mind right now. This year, this finals, not the same Kyrie Irving. What is that secret sauce in those moments that you can elevate your game?
You gonna pay me for that secret sauce?
Well,
man?
Taco Bell, I got another.
They already paid me for this, so you gotta pay me for that. No, you know the key is.
jacket with a little Marcellus Valley.
Little secret sauce.
Exactly.
You want some secret sauce on the jacket?
You know, here's the thing is, a lot of guys put so much pressure on. Like right now, I guarantee he's thinking about the individual matchup that's going on with Curry, and he's thinking about that. You cannot think about it. You just got to play basketball, and when you go out and you think too much, it messes up your game. And I guarantee you, he's worried about, oh, I got to get the better matchup. I got to do exactly what I did last year. I used to always tell myself, there are more important things in life than basketball. This is just a game we played, started out as kids for fun, and then we made it to a career. Just enjoy the moment and just play and
So
let
it's
everything
not
happen.
paralysis by overanalysis.
Exactly.
Why does that seem to change? For like, in other words, last year that seemed to be Steph. This year it's Kyrie. We have a tendency to think that once a guy reveals that, that's who he is. Why do you think it flipped this year?
Well, I think it flipped. Last year they put so much pressure on themselves because they had the best record in the NBA, and so they went out and said, "Oh, we gotta win the championship." Exactly, and then. You know, you lost Draymond Green in that one game, and all of a sudden the momentum changes. You know, that's all you need is one little switch to flip, and the momentum changes. So this series is, I know we asked me this earlier, is it over? It's not over yet because anything can happen. You can get an injury. You know, look at what happened to Golden State. They should have lost game one against the Spurs, but Kyrie gets hurt, they win that game. So it's a lot of things that can happen. So the series is still wide open until that last buzzer and that trophy is being brought in.
It is amazing that they were getting their butts whipped when Kawhi was in the game, and then Kawhi went out, and the Warriors have destroyed the league since then.
Thank you, Zaza.